Well, in this video I want to talk about just how you are the reverse, you people. You see, in the Catatonic society, strength is equivalent to positivity. So basically to find the future commander and vice commander, who is a woman, of the planet, then the committee, there is a special committee of people who do this. They visit the equivalent of nursery schools, which aren't called nursery schools, they're called child reinforcement centres. And they visit these child reinforcement centres and they find the strongest little boy and the strongest little girl. Once they found the strongest little boy and the strongest little girl, they know that that person can command the planet, that those people can command the planet, because they are the most positive people, because it goes together. In your society, instead, basically, you vote for criminals because in order to climb the social scale, you have to act in a criminal fashion. And those people you see who are the winners, who arrive at the top of the social scale and become presidents, etc., are big criminals. They're the most clever criminals, and you all know this, usually. And you find it very funny. Well, they're not strong people at all, really. Basically, anybody could clobber President Obama, and I'm sure any top boxer could win against President Obama. Whereas no top boxer could win against the commander of any catatonic planet. In fact, the commander of a catatonic planet and his wife spend their time taking on sportsmen challenges. That's all they do most of the time, because the whole idea is that a government must be redundant. Everything must be organized so that the government doesn't have to do anything really. Just because everything is all planned and everything works smoothly. All they have to do is simulate crises and simulate their responses to these crises, which they do. The government is made up of philosophers. All these people are trained to be high-level philosophers, these strong children. And they make it under the most devastating training, most devastating physical and psychological and mental training. They actually manage to arrive to the level where they're able to govern the planet. And there are 102 people in command of the planet, because the government is made out of the commander, the vice commander, and or governor and vice governor, and the 100 other governors who are sort of like the parliament, who all help in discussing everything. And actually, when it comes to something that they can't resolve, if there's any ever a question they can't resolve, they resort to martial arts. And it's always man-woman against man-woman, you know, always couples like that. And they have a big sort of kung fu fight, you know, martial arts fight, and the strong side is in the right inevitably, because it carries the truth inside it. That is how the catatonic society works. And so that's the difference, you see. It's all much simpler. You see, in the evil society, the people at the top are sort of half decrepit sometimes. They're falling to bits. I mean, they couldn't defend themselves in any way without using evil methods, you see. I mean, catatonic women do not ever call out to men to help them if they are attacked by, for example, a group of 14 men. If they are assaulted by a group of 14 men, they will call out to all the women nearby and all ensue a fight between the women and the men, and the women will win because they're in the right. Being in the right gives you strength, you see. And that is how they proceed, you see. They would never call out to the men, so they call out to their own side. That is why the catatonic woman has exactly the same level of consideration as the catatonic man. She has the same value in society, always. I mean, and she doesn't command though. It's not like on the earth where the women are pleading for their rights, but they're secretly commanding everything. Who is secretly commanding on the earth is a woman. Actually, I know. And there are many women who are also secretly commanding different sectors. And there is usually apparently a man in charge. Well, excuse me, I have this tremendous illness inflicted on me by you people, so I shouldn't really apologise actually, as it's you people making me ill. I'm not apologising about it at all. I'm simply rather sick at the moment. That's all. It doesn't make me feel bad, because I don't have to feel bad. I just occasionally demonstrate the symptoms of my illness. That's all. And it's difficult for me to make this video without coughing and sneezing. So I don't think it'll be a very long video, because I have coughing and sneezing fits. But anyway, that is the difference. You see, you're completely the reverse. You vote for the cleverest criminal on the market, you see. You select him, you see, I think he's sly. Yes, well, sly is an evil thing, you see. Good people are astute, not sly. I am astute. Now, being sly is something evil. It's totally negative. And it means buggering other people, tricking and buggering other people. And this is the most boring thing, is that you vote for the most clever trickers, the most cleverest people at trickery that you can possibly find. And those people who are clever at trickery arrive at the top of the social scale. So what do? They trick you lot. And then you complain about it. You see, it falls on your head, because obviously, you see, the character is indivisible. You see, this was a notion that was communicated to me by a person once, many years ago. A German man once told me in a pub, he was drunk, he said, the character is indivisible, he said. Those mafia bosses are not kind people, not even to their own families. In fact, they're not kind people to their own families. Their families suffer from a tremendous sort of domination. They're under tremendous pressure all the time. It's not fun to be the son or daughter of a mafia boss. And character is indivisible, so once you've elected the criminal to be in government, he will be tricking all of you, everyone in the whole country. And that is how you proceed. And then you complain about it. You spend the next 5 years, because you can only tolerate your governance for 5 years, because you have this sort of kind of envy syndrome. So you can't tolerate seeing anyone in a high position for more than about 5 years. You have to see them being defeated by someone else, you know. And this governor will do a load of rubbish, because in 5 years you can't make any plans at all. All he'll do is try and get another 5 years. He'll be thinking about trying to get another 5 years by tricking you all, by making false promises again, you know. The more he can elude you, you know, the more he can, the more probable he is to get another 5 years as governor, governor of your country, you know. So, that's all really stupid, you know, because the governors of a catatonic planet actually govern for a period which maybe seems strange to you, but it's 104 years. Now 104 years is the catatonic century, you see, because it's divided into intervals of 13 years. And they don't have the decade, they have these 13-year intervals, 8 13-year intervals in the Catatonic century. Anyway, he governs for 104 years, him and his wife. And that's enough time to, actually in the early beginnings, when they are actually making big projects and making big advances, that's enough time to make plans, you see. After that, as I said, they become redundant once they've constructed their spaceships and everything. They actually become redundant once they join the union with nature. The government is a redundant factor that is only there for times of emergency. And in fact, they have to just periodically demonstrate their authority by ordering all people to lie on the ground wherever they are. All planes have to come down and land wherever they are, even if it's in the middle of the ocean. All trains have to come to a halt. Everything has to stop. All cars must stop on the motorways, and the people have to get out and lie on the ground. Everything has to stop for about 3 hours. Just people in silence, total silence. Once he's demonstrated this capacity, he knows, and he only has to do that once in 104 years, or twice in 104 years. And then he knows that the people are obeying him and will obey him in a real crisis, because real crises can occur. The planet can be infected by the disease Atlantida, which I have talked about in another video, which causes nothing to grow. Of course, what I forgot to mention in the other video is that nothing grows at all, not even for the animals, of course. So when they're importing food, when the planet is struck by Atlantida, then it has to be food also for the animals, because they otherwise all the animals will die. So they have a big responsibility, those humans, you see. So that is why they pay their insurance money every 1,000 years to the Union of Nature to receive the intervention of the Voivod gods, the Voivod doctor gods, who will cure the living planet, which I said is always called a Voivod, and they will cure this Voivod from its illness. Anyway, I wanted to say that you just have to find the two strongest children, and if they are normal, positive people. And once you've found the two strongest children, then you found the two people who can command the planet. Once you find out they are the strongest, you then just have to teach them philosophy, mathematics, and all the rest. And primarily philosophy, and then they will be able to command the planet. They will learn all sports, of course, because as I said, they spend all their time taking on challenges, private challenges from the top sportsmen, and they always have to win, you see, against whatever sportsman it is, you know. They have to be able to win against any champion sportsman up to a certain level, you know, because on an interplanetary level, if they're trying to challenge sportsmen like that, who are not just champions on that planet, but they are champions in a whole world full of 1,000 trillion planets, you know, they will not win against that champion. So, but they are supposed to be able to win against the planetary champion in any sport. Yes, any sport at all. So the people look up to them, because you're supposed to look up to your leaders with admiration. You're not supposed to sort of applaud their disgustingness, as you people do. You know, you elect people who are disgusting and applaud their disgustingness. You're not supposed to do that. No, you're supposed to elect people who are so admirable, that it completely, it makes you completely, well, full of admiration, basically, not full of disgust, and you certainly don't want to get rid of those people at all. You want to see those people command well for over 100 years, and they don't talk much to the public. They are never seen, you see, because it's always private. The discussions in the government building have to be kept secret for 300 years. That means anything they're saying will be released to the public after 300 years. And they're never in the newspapers or anything like that. Only their edicts are in the newspapers, that's all. And once a year, the governor of the planet, the mayor, makes a speech of about 45 minutes, and that's all. And then you don't hear about them anymore. The people, this is how a government, sensible government operates. The government's edicts, if there is any command, it is an edict which is completely undiscussable, and it is put in the newspapers. Otherwise, there is no discussions about them at all, no talk about them at all, no photographs of them at all. It is forbidden to put photographs of the government members. Also about privacy, I must say that it is normal that you can't photograph anybody. You know, everyone has rights to privacy, so people cannot be photographed and put in the newspapers. Not at all. And without their consent, you see. And so the most famous people, even famous pop stars, for example, can go around completely relaxed, in a completely relaxed manner among a crowd of people, and nobody will harass them at all or anything like that. They're not supposed to be harassed, you say. They are supposed to be applauded when they're performing, but not to be harassed in their private lives. So the governors are the same. They are not harassed by anybody. They live very private lives. And the government building is the most magnificent building, really. It's designed very specially, and it has many secrets inside it. It has a very secret garden in the courtyard with special plants that don't grow anywhere else on the planet. And visitors who are invited can see these plants. Other people can only hear about them. Oh well, that's this video for today.